Okay.
Right. 49, 45. Been sort of nailed together. Guy bought it in Nova Scotia. Just a few quirky bits and pieces on it, but all in all, nice little bike, yeah. So it's got a 64 Cervicar engine in it, a GE. Still got the reverse gearbox on it. You still got reverse cluster. Definitely a 47 up frame because of the lugs there and the 3 bolts for the clutch cable support. Tanks look right. Pretty sure that's the right. It's the right rear light, a tombstone. Headlamp's wrong. That's too big. But I would say these are around about period correct. The mudguards are as well. The wide flange and the wide bars. Military carb. M88. Seat post is made up out of bits and pieces.
When you say it's made out of bits and pieces, how do you mean?
Well, the guy took the springs out and put a Triumph fork spring down it because he's made that bush up, which we, oh there you go, it's got it back in, sorted. So that's in, that should be bronze. Seat T is correct, it's just a long seat T, that's all. Yeah, he showed us this, it's got a, probably off a Harley Davidson topper. It's your 2-stroke measuring jug if you're running a 2-stroke.
Okay, cool.
Different, isn't it? So I've been converted to 12 volt. Obviously not a Harley Davidson coil. Cycle works generator and regulator rectifier on this side. Converted to automatic advance and retard, which he was saying is not necessarily a bad thing on one of these. Rear brake all looks Harley. Civilian exhaust pipe with the turn down, the militaries were straight up. No, I don't know what that oil pump's off of. Never seen one like that before. No idea. Completely different from a standard 45 oil pump. Usual floppy brake pedal, usual clutch adjustment, pedal on the clutch. It's not bad for one of these. Yeah, that's alright. Good horn. We think they're big twin forks because that is an inch, not 7/8 of an inch.
Okay.
The diameter of that. That would have had risers on it, dog bones or risers to have a set of high bars or something like that on it. So if you want to get it back to originals, it's got no steering damper in it, so you have to buy a big twin steering damper set and a 45 steering damper set.
Yeah.
And sort of mix and match the bits between the two. You can do it. And then you can chop the tops of those off once you've measured them, and then you can put your cover plate in with your pin to stop the lower nut coming undone for your headstock adjustment. Yeah, it's quite short that, yeah.
You mentioned there's no ride control on there either?
No, you can have ride control on the side, which goes from that bolt there up to that bolt there. You just have a knob on the side. All it is a sliding plate either side with fibre washers that you can tighten up.
Yeah.
And that just gives you bounce if you've got bouncy springs, you know. You can do the ride control, just nip it up on those.
Did they remove ride control at any point?
Yes, yeah. I can't remember. I think originally the ride control, I may be wrong, was only used on military, and then people put them on at a later date.
Oh, okay.
Just to make it a smoother ride, you know. Because some of the military stuff had it, some didn't.
Does it make that much difference then?
I would, if you're going across fields and shit, yeah, I would imagine it does, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what they wouldn't have put it on. I mean, the XA's put a big car shock absorber on here. Yeah, I would imagine if you're sort of cross country riding, it would make a lot of difference. Yeah.
Whereas on today's roads, it's not really going to do anything.
Well, the state of our roads, it might. Original lug there. I think. Yeah, that one's been cut off. There should be another one that side on a 47 up.
Not too much of a hodgepodge of bits and pieces.
Not really, no. I mean, they were. It's like all of these things, isn't it? They're all a bit quirky, like cars and stuff. You get crossover periods where you know, from one year to another, it could be different, or you'll get 1 year with a 1946 tank on it, but it's a 47 bike, and things like that. Wrong brake lever, but that's here nor there, is it?
Anything massively out of place?
No, not really. It's got big twin forks in it, or it might be I'm not sure if Cervicar had inch headstock instead of 7/8, but it's just strange that it's got Cervicar engine, Cervicar gearbox. It's still got reverse in it.
So would it still have a reverse?
Yeah, it's still in there, yeah. It doesn't look like any of this has been altered, because the Cervicar frame comes out here. It takes the two back wheels. I mean, it's got a few dents and dings in it, but wouldn't have said it's been welded up or anything. Not like that other one we had, that was all over the place, you know.
Yeah.
Say unusual to have the M88 on it, especially when the M88 car had fixed jet in the bottom to stop the squaddies playing around with it. But this one's got an adjustable high speed, so they've taken the fixed jet out the bottom, put a blanking plug in it, and used the needle, which is fine as long as you know how to adjust it, you know. Yeah, that's fine.
What carb would they be having on there instead of?
I can't remember what they were. It's the same carburettor, a Linker, but military. They only use. They go on to M41s and all that sort of stuff. M88 is your standard 45 military carburettor. WLC or Cervicar front end. Well, big twin. WLC or Cervicar, because the rockers are on the outside and the WLA are on the inside. So you've got your interchangeable wheels on it. You can take that wheel out and put it in that one. Swap them over. Can't see anything major. Wrong fuel tap. Whether that's working or not, I don't know. I think they're correct for the year, 47 to 49. I think they're the correct badges. There's so many different types, you know. It's a bit like speedo faces on these. Some of them worth an absolute fortune if it's a 1 year only or something like that. I'm not sure what speedo face that one is. You can look all this stuff up. The guy said he doesn't like the wide bars, but you can. I think there's 3 or 4 different sizes of bars that they did, width-wise, you know, and rake back and things like that. But don't forget, Harley Davidson in the 40s and early 50s had a massive post-production range of spares.
Okay.
You know, like you get bikini bars, you get Sportster bars, you get so-and-so bars, you know, like the ones we put on Matey's coming, what they're called now. No, the word's gone. But that had risers on and the bars like that, like those.
Yeah, Brando bars, no.
Yeah, I can't think what they were called now, what the company was, but that was one of the main dealers who did it then. So, headlamps too big, but not a bad thing in this day and age.
Well, going back to those bars then, so the connection on the bars allows you to swap out for a lot of different options.
God, yeah, you can take this off. You have ones where these come out straight, so you still maintain the Harley Davidson top adjustment and pin lock, and then you put what they call dog bones on them, and then you put the I can't remember what the bloody called.
I can't. Very
annoying. But if you look at those, if I get them down, they're probably shorter. You can see there, that's about 2 inches shorter on the bars there. But unfortunately, you could have add these, but they're absolutely
I can see that.
bollocks. It's the only word I can think of, really. Say 94.5 centimetres. Yeah, so overall, 5-6 inches narrower.
Yeah.
You can't really see it on there, but yeah, they're a lot narrower.
It would make a big difference to the ride comfort, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so you can put them point to point like that. See how much shorter they are? But Christ knows what's happened to them. No, I run over by a tank or something. Because a lot of the parts, like your foot plates, your shafts that hold everything, that didn't change until they stopped making Cervicars in 53 or 73.
Okay.
It's all exactly the same part.
Did the brakes have any improvements at all?
No, absolutely terrible. No, the front brakes didn't change even when you had the extra weight of the Cervicar. And I think some of the very later ones, because they went over from Springer forks to Duo Glide forks.
Yeah.
So you had the, in quotes, better brake. I don't know if they ever went to hydraulic. I don't know if they went to hydraulic on the rear, on Cervicars. I think it's 61. I think they went to hydraulic rear brake, and the Duoglide forks, which just supposedly was a better brake, but it wasn't. Realistically, it's not a lot better than what you got on a WLA.
Why fix something that's not broken?
Oh yeah, if it don't work, leave it. So it's got silly things like incorrect battery box, incorrect battery, throttle cables. Obviously, he's got it coming through the bars, which should be, but the originals, that cable didn't go that side. It came that side, went down, went to a lug on the top of the cylinder head. But if it's perfectly rideable, it's perfectly rideable. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
That's it.
Each to their own and all that.
So he said he enjoys riding the bike, but it's not comfortable because of position of the seats.
Yeah, I mean he's quite tall, but he said it's a bit of a stretch because he's damaged his shoulder. So your narrower bars come forwards a little bit, you'll probably find it a lot easier.
Yeah, and you said you can move the seat forward as well.
Yeah, on here you've got 3 settings on a standard Harley CT. You have a long CT and a short CT. Short's for military. If you look under there, you've got 1, 2, 3 slots, yeah?
Oh yeah.
So you can move that forwards by that much, undo that 9/16 nut, and that will slide forwards and just nip it all back up again. Yeah, nothing else. Got oil pressure gauge on it, which is, instead of an idiot light, you have that. Yeah, non-standard wiring, but that's nothing to worry about, is it?
He's having a few problems with the speedo as well. Is that quite normal?
Yeah. They're they get old, they get water in them. You know, it's a bad idea. The speedo drive, it's only held in there just by a little metal plate there, and the reproduction ones basically all the wrong length. So you have to re-machine the slot in the speedo drive that goes in there to get it to sit central of the drive cog. So that goes in your speedo drive into the back hub. There's a cog, it's very helical cog that sits on those teeth there. You can see that one's chewed up, look, because it's not sitting in the middle of the round cog, it's sitting to one side of it. Okay, like that or like that. So these slots are machined in the wrong place, right, which is really handy. So sometimes you can push that to the back of where it mounts, and that goes in there, yeah? That plate should hold it against there. Yeah. But sometimes if it wants to go that way, you can push them through and get the plate on the back side of that plate. Alright. Which is, if not, the only other way to do it is bung it in a lathe and machine another slot in it to get it to line up on the centre of that cog. But of course, when you're doing it, you can't see anything. So you can only do it by feel. It's the only way you can do it, which is very stupid, but that's the only possible way of doing it. It's literally by feel. You do plastic teeth and brass teeth. You'll never wear out the cog that's on the back of the wheel. That won't happen. Yeah. So plastic ones are clearly cheaper. You can buy those, they just prise off the end and you can just bang a new one on the end, because unless you've actually bent that, which is highly unlikely, you can just change the cogs on the end. Normal CT bush, knackered. Non-standard exhaust covers. WLA oil pipes. He said when he bought the bike the engine was seized. Yeah. Would that be a major concern? No, not really. You could buy everything for them, you know. You've got a spare engine with. These are later cylinder heads. The square flank. Yeah, it's quite a late engine. 63 engine's quite late. The only time to start worrying on one of these if it's smashed the main bearings out the crank. Yeah. You know, with the line bore inside of it. If it's actually gone that far, then you're on a hide into nothing really. You can redo them, but you're ending up, the cost of a set of new casings is going to be cheaper than trying to re-weld it, machine it all, line bore it all. Yeah. But apart from that, buy anything for the crankshafts, buy anything for the pistons, buy any of the valves. Yeah, it's just engine casings really, and make not big end bearings, main bearings on the crank. If those are, you can buy all the sleeves to go back in them, but if the casings have had it, there's no point in putting a sleeve in it because it's all over the shop. So if you're mixing and matching on a bike like this, is there any like non-compatible things that you need to be aware of? Not really. I mean, the fixtures and fittings are much the same for year to year. Earlier tanks, these, the speedo mounting bracket that takes all the ignition switch and the wiring, you've got to be careful what you're doing with that. because these tanks will only go with that top. If you put a WLA top on this, it won't fit.
Right, okay.
That's one of the main things with that. Obviously you've got your different size stems there, which is, you can get round it by putting different cups in the frame to take the stem size cup. If you go in early, you've got a 3-bolt and a 2-bolt gearbox, but 40 to 41 2-bolt gearbox, you hardly ever see any of that. You really don't see them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're very, very collectible. They've got the narrow clutch case, different size rear spread on the rear of the forks, all that sort of stuff, but they're sort of quite desirable, and they didn't make many of them, so you don't. Obviously, they're probably the same frames when you go back to a 39, 38 RL and things like that, but most of the shit you'll find, i.e. what we deal with and what most people have got, is a 45 WLA or derivative, a civilianised one of them. So most of those are 42 up. So you get some 40, I can't remember what year it was 40 or 41 when they went from the 2-bolt gearbox, but then you have to, things really don't match up. All the chains are out of line, all sorts of things, you know. So yeah, that's the only thing. If you're getting earlier than 42, realistically.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, you get bits that don't fit this and don't fit that. You can bodge it all together, but it will never run right. Yeah. It'll run right, but it'll never
feel right.
It'll wear out.
Yeah.
Things are out, like chains are slightly out of line, and you can shim up the wheels to get them in the middle, but that doesn't mean that the cog chain or the line of chain is going to marry up with the gearbox.
Yeah.
Things like that. It's all doable. Everybody's done it all before. You know, these things are made gazillions of them, so everybody's done something to something to make it work, and they'll go, yeah, you can do that, yeah, you can do that, but it takes you 5 months and $5 to do it, or whatever, you know. Yeah, generally on these, you stick with what you got. You know what the frame is, you know what the forks are, you know what the wheels should be, and then they're all pretty much mix and match. Yeah. Well, in military one wouldn't have 16 wheels, 16-inch wheels, but it's not military, so there you go. Front brake cable should be tied into a clip there. And the cable goes up through there. Should have a clip on the handlebars there to hold the cable. Yeah, you can go on and on and on, but it's a rideable bike. That's what the guy wants it for. That's fair enough. Perfectly rideable, usable, daily rider. Yeah.